Have you started that relationship?
No.
Well, why?
He's married, for number one.
Your Honor, Brooklyn got my last name.
I'm sitting up here trying to figure out what's
She all over the place.
back.
She
a whole wife.
Yeah. Oh, why hold him back? You bugging.
She sent a text message, a picture text message, which was a pregnancy test. I asked her what's the pregnancy test for. She tells me that it wasn't for me. It was for the other guy she thought was the father of her child.
Wait, what?
Your Honor, I
skeptical
told him
about
that
it.
it was someone else. It was a mistake on sending it to him. So once he continued to deny it.
Judge Lake introduces Muhammad versus Walton, where Mr. Muhammad insists he's Brooklyn's dad, but Ms. Walton says nope. She admits she was seeing another guy almost daily during conception. This case isn't just messy, it's next-level chaos.
Mr. Muhammad, you are here to prove that you are the father of the defendant's 2-year-old daughter, Brooklyn. You claim the only reason she is denying paternity is because she wants to be in a relationship with the other man. And Ms. Walton, you say you were secretly cheating on Mr. Muhammad and had sex with the other man almost every day of the month?
Mr. Muhammad is convinced Brooklyn is his. Same face, same eyes, same vibe. He refuses to let another man raise his child. But before he can finish his proud speech, Ms. Walton is about to drop a major bomb.
I would never let another man raise my child. I was always raised to do the right thing, always raised to be a stand-up gentleman. You can look at Brooklyn now, see my face features, everything. I'm here today to prove today that I am the father.
And you say it's not his baby, Ms. Walton?
Yes, ma'am. I say that because during my conception day, I was having more sexual intercourse with the other guy than Mr. Muhammad.
Ms. Walton claims Mr. Muhammad was cheating first, so she did too, only way more. The audience gasps when she confesses she was seeing another man the entire time. But wait, Mr. Muhammad is about to lose it over one insane detail.
During that time, while he was having his affair, I was having my affair also. Well, baby, I wouldn't say we were together.
I wasn't having no affair. We was together. She told me that this gentleman was her cousin. I didn't think nothing of it.
It's not true, Your Honor. He's always known this guy.
I know.
Who was.
That's the other man that she wanted to be with.
Ms. Walton met the other guy at hotels while Mr. Muhammad thought she was at work. He calls her out saying, "You wasn't at no job." She fires back that she worked 2 jobs while pregnant and got no help. But things are about to get crazier.
Well, what happens is we was sneaking off to the hotel. I told him I was at work because during my pregnancy I was working 2 jobs, while Mr. Muhammad wouldn't even help me with anything.
She's cheating, Your Honor. While she thinks she at work, she's cheating.
Were you still intimate with Mr. Muhammad during that time as well?
Yes, I was.
All right.
Wow.
So you were sleeping with them both?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Muhammad checked her phone while she was asleep. Bad for her. Jackpot for him. He found texts and pictures confirming the affair. Worst part? The messages revealed she was pregnant.
What happened was I came home, she sleep, looked at her phone, I started seeing a full-fledged text message about having sex, all that stuff. Y'all having a full relationship.
So you had
I had no idea about this man. She told me in the beginning that was a cousin. I ain't thinking none of it. I'm thinking it's a family member. You stop having sex with me.
Ms. Walton told the other guy about the baby before she told Mr. Muhammad. Imagine finding out your child exists through text to another man. He didn't even hear it from her. His family told him first.
Took the cell phone and he had confronted me about the text message and he had asked me, well, whose child is it? And I told him, I said, it's his child. It's not yours.
My recollection of it is that I'm thinking that the baby's mom. We already had one child together. Like I said, we was in a relationship, and I'm thinking I'm the only one that she sees from. I did not know nothing about the gentleman. If we look at Brooklyn and look at me, we look alike, similar alike. Everything is alike.
Mr. Muhammad swears Brooklyn was conceived February 21st at his mom's house, down to the sink. Ms. Walton says it was February 5th at her place. Problem? She was with both men that whole week.
The date was February 21st in my mama's house, in the bathroom. She was in the mood. She go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom after. That's the date that we have Brooklyn.
Do you remember this day, Ms.
On
Walton?
the sink.
Your Honor, I remember us having sex at my house, not his mother's house.
That you conceived your daughter, Brooklyn, in your mother's bathroom on the sink.
Yes, ma'am.
She straight up admits she hopes Brooklyn belongs to the other guy because he'd be a better dad. Mr. Muhammad is shook. Turns out the other man wanted a paternity test too.
She want this baby to be his. But like I said, I know the baby. First time I held Brooklyn, I didn't get to see Brooklyn until she was 6 months old. First time I held Brooklyn, I already know that she's mine. It's certain characteristics that's mine.
That's the day she was born.
I didn't even get to see that. I didn't get to see none of that.
And did you tell this other guy I'm pregnant?
Yes, I told the other guy I was pregnant.
Never told me nothing.
But you didn't tell Mr. Muhammad?
No.
I told Mr. Muhammad after I confirmed it with the doctor.
Mr. Muhammad Muhammad swears Brooklyn looks just like him. He even pulls out pictures for proof. Judge Lake shuts it down, saying, "We don't do DNA tests with our eyes." But the biggest shocker is coming.
Brooklyn looks like my oldest daughter. If you look at them two girls right there, they look that's alike. That's my first daughter right there. She for my babies right there. Look at me and look at them. No, my babies right there.
Yeah, they may be your babies, but I'm taking care of them.
Oh, I take care of them too.
No,
I take
you do
care
not.
of them too. I ask you all the time.
Listen.
Plot twist, the other guy is married. The courtroom loses it. Judge Lake sarcastically points out why he isn't stepping up. Mr. Muhammad is completely done.
Have you started that relationship?
No.
Well, why?
He's married, for number one.
Your Honor, Brooklyn got my last name.
I'm sitting up here trying to figure out what's
She all over the
holding
place.
him back.
Huh? She
a whole wife.
Oh, why holding him back? You bugging.
Judge Lake opens the results.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Muhammad, you are the father.
Yes. I know what I'm talking about, baby. I know what I'm talking about.
This case is a mess from the start. Ms. Palmer is furious because Mr. Ross denies being the father of her baby, Jace. Mr. Ross insists she's after his money, but the relationship history is even wilder.
You opened today's case because the defendant is denying he fathered your 3-month-old son. You recently met your own father for the first time and refused to have your son grow up without his father like you did. You say pinning her child on you because you have money, and you are in court to prove once and for all you are not her child's father.
They went from strangers to lovers in 24 hours. Mr. Ross claims they always used protection, but Ms. Palmer calls that a lie. He wanted a real relationship, but she wasn't ready, making the baby timeline extra messy.
Your Honor, first of all, we used condoms every time we had sex.
We never use condoms, Your Honor.
He's denying your child, as we can see, Ms. Palmer. You're raising the child alone.
Yes, Your Honor.
With absolutely no help from Mr. Ross. Jace is 3 months old. You're denying that this baby is yours, Mr. Ross, because you say you use condoms throughout the relationship.
Yes, Your Honor.
What was the nature of this relationship?
We were just friends with benefits, Your Honor.
The math isn't adding up. Ms. Palmer says she only slept with Mr. Ross when she conceived, but she met him the day before. She's sure he's the dad, but his next revelation changes everything.
I met someone before him, and then it's just like when I started talking to him, it was just only him. But the month before,
Your Honor,
it
she
was
told me
someone
she was
else.
talking to somebody.
I was talking to someone the previous month, yes. But the month that I met him, no.
Did you find out you were pregnant?
And I was telling my friend, I said, something's not right. And she told me to come over, and we're gonna do a pregnancy test. We went to the store, we purchased 4 pregnancy tests. I took 2, both of them came back positive.
Ms. Palmer accidentally sent her positive pregnancy test to Mr. Ross, then said, "Oops, not for you." She admits she thought another man was the father first. Mr. Ross sees this as proof she was guessing who the dad was.
She sent a picture text message, which was a pregnancy test. I asked her what's the pregnancy test for. She tells me that it wasn't for me. It was for the other guy she thought was the father of her child.
Wait, what?
Your Honor, I
skeptical
told him
about
that
it.
it was someone else.
Accidentally send this pregnancy test to Mr. Ross, but you thought you were sending it to the other guy?
It was a mistake on sending it to him. So once he continued to deny it,
She already tested another guy. He wasn't the dad. As soon as she got the result, she asked Mr. Ross to take a test, which he refused. Despite denying the baby, he was still texting her about being a father.
in the beginning of August, me and the alleged father, we got a DNA test. And the results came back. I immediately contacted Mr. Ross.
And what did you say when you reached out to him?
I asked him to do a DNA test for me. Told me that he was not the father, and then it just like got to the point where he wanted to, he started claiming my son, sending pictures, everything. Made the statement of he would help me buy a car seat.
Ms. Palmer swears Jace looks like Mr. Ross. He argues the baby doesn't have good hair, but Judge Lake shuts that down. With looks proving nothing, Ms. Palmer brings up child support.
I mean, it's obvious my son looks like you. My son has the same lips, the same eyes. My son has short limbs. I'm tall, obviously, Your Honor.
Yeah.
He even told me that my son is not his son because my son doesn't have good hair.
We know babies come in all shapes, sizes, and colors with all different textures of hair and everything else, and we don't talk about everything about this baby as innocent and good.
She demands a DNA test or child support, his choice. Mr. Ross refuses to pay for a test, saying they should have done it at the hospital. Judge Lake reminds them both they handled things poorly.
Before I even send you any kind of money, you're gonna have to get a DNA test in, because I'm not finna just
He
give you
told
no
me he
money.
was not gonna pay for one.
Because that's
This
the
is our
case, she
next
could have
step.
just told me I was the father when she thought the other guy was, and we wouldn't have to do that. We had to do it at the hospital.
For it.
First thing she told me, she said, "Well, I'm gonna put you on child support. I know how to handle this."
I mean, I do.
You tell
Why
me
should
how
I
it's-
continue to make you or anything like that to take care of your son?
Mr. Ross claims another possible father is his cousin's friend. Ms. Palmer denies cheating, insisting there were only 2 men. None of it matters now. The DNA results are in.
You know, she was messing around with more guys, because the guy she thought was her father, he actually is my cousin friend, and I actually know the guy.
I didn't know they knew each other.
He told me I wasn't.
He didn't tell him
she wasn't
anything
she was
because
cheating on him.
once I got my DNA test, that was it. I was not cheating on him.
And it wasn't with me. He told me, he was like, are you the father of Jessica Child? I said, no. He said, well, I'm not either because I took the DNA test.
Judge Lake reveals the truth.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Ross, you are the father.
Mr. Fisher had no idea he was signing up for an emotional roller coaster. He unknowingly signed Sophia's birth certificate, thinking all was good. A month later, bam, Ms. Doyle admits she cheated, leaving him heartbroken, but still deeply loving Sophia.
Mr. Fisher, you claim you made the biggest mistake of your life by signing the birth certificate for 2-month-old Sophia. You say your fiance dropped a bomb on you just 1 month ago and admitted you may not be her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Just when you think it can't get worse, Ms. Doyle explains, she confesses but hopes Mr. Fisher is still the dad. She praises him for being the perfect boyfriend, but their relationship is hanging by a thread.
Ms. Doyle?
I think that he is the father. I know 100%. I mean, he was there through the whole pregnancy. He does everything for me. He works. He supports our family. He runs my baths. He cooks my food. He rubs my back and rubs my feet. He's a great father, very loving. He's a very loving father and a very loving fiance.
Their love story started like a fairy tale, but crashed hard. Mr. Fisher recalls falling for Ms. Doyle's beauty and kindness. It was perfect, until the ultimate betrayal shattered everything.
When me and one of her family members met, we became best friends. Like, we was close like this. He took me around her, and I just fell for her. And ever since then, I've loved her. She's beautiful. Her eyes, amazing. Her body, she's gorgeous, and she treats me like a man wanted to be treated, all the way up until this happened.
Things go from bad to, what were you thinking? Ms. Doyle cheats because of a false rumor about Mr. Fisher. Instead of asking, she hooks up with a random guy. Turns out the rumor was a total lie.
I was on vacation with one of his family members in Florida, and another one of his family members that he was with at the time had texted me. He said, Trey's cheating on you, which we call him Trey, but his name is John. Me, I was hurt. A guy walked up to me. Do you want to go to my camper and talk? So go back to his camper with him, and we talked about it, and then one thing led to another. He kissed me, and then we had sex.
Carrying a baby while hiding a massive secret? Yikes. Ms. Doyle panics when she sees the positive test. She lets Mr. Fisher celebrate, pretending everything's fine, while guilt eats her alive.
The day that I found out she was pregnant, she had threw up like 3 or 4 times because she was feeling sick. We purchased the pregnancy tests, went back to the house. She took them. One had a faint line, and then one had both lines. And I was happy. That was the best day of my life.
Mr. Fisher, clueless, decides to propose. Ms. Doyle's inner voice screams, "Tell him!" but she says nothing. She smiles, takes the ring, and the secret stays buried.
I told her, I went to work that day, and I was thinking about proposing to her because I love her. She's my world. I got home that day. I had the ring in my pocket. I told her how I felt. I said, I love you. You're my world. You're everything I've ever wanted. I want to take this family to a whole nother level. Will you marry me? And she said yes.
The best day turns messy. Mr. Fisher cheers Ms. Doyle on, signs the birth certificate, and beams with pride. Meanwhile, she's silently panicking, knowing the truth will come out soon.
When she was giving birth, I held her hand. I felt like I was the dad, which at the time, I kept telling her, push, push. I want to see my baby. And afterwards, I signed the birth certificate and everything because I thought it was my baby. We stayed there for 3 days. Those 3 days were the most important, amazing, wonderful thing that I have ever felt in my life.
Reality hits when Ms. Doyle admits the timeline doesn't add up. A court calendar proves the baby might not be his. Mr. Fisher stares at it in disbelief, and then he does the unexpected.
Sophia was born on January 15th. You took vacation April 21st to May 1st, and that's the window of time in which you cheated.
Yes, Your Honor.
When you calculate it, the window of conception would be between April 19th to April 26th for a child born on January 15th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Instead of walking away, Mr. Fisher says, "I love you and Sophia, no matter what." Ms. Doyle breaks down, knowing she doesn't deserve his kindness. Then, the DNA results arrive.
I'm sorry that it happened, and if she's yours, then I hope that...
Let me tell you this. You ain't got to be guilty about it no more. I know about it, and I know you're sorry. Just don't hold it on me no more. That's my baby no matter what, and you're my wife. I love you.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Fisher, you are the father.
Oh boy, this one is a hot mess. Judge Lake introduces Lima VD, Scott, and Anderson. Ms. Lima claims Mr. Anderson is the father, but he, a married man, says nope, his whole marriage is on the edge, and that thread is snapping fast.
Ms. Lima, you admit to making a huge mistake and hope it doesn't affect your baby Christina. You had an affair with Mr. Anderson, who is married, and believe he's your daughter's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Anderson, you say your whole life is on the line and your marriage, and you're hoping you're not the father today.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lima met Mr. Anderson on Facebook, chatted for a year, then, boom, dinner and hotel. Just like that, things happened. The audience gasps, but oh, this is only the beginning of the chaos.
Your Honor, it all started from a Facebook message when Mr. Anderson was messaging me on Facebook. So we started being friends online for about a year and a half. Then out of the blue one day, he called me and said, let's go out for dinner. So I was like, hey, well, I'm not doing anything, so why not? We went out to dinner and we got a hotel room that night. We had sex.
Your Honor.
Ms. Anderson finds out when she messages Ms. Lima. She asks who she is, and Ms. Lima confidently responds, I'm his girlfriend. Then Ms. Anderson drops the bomb. I'm his wife of 10 years. The audience losing it.
A few minutes later, Miss Anderson, she inboxed me and say, like, who are you? So, said I'm his girlfriend of a year, so who are you? I'm his wife of 10 years,
Really?
Yes. No, I did not know he married. He did not show any signs of marriage or anything.
Was this true?
I'm just sorry, Your Honor. I just want to say I'm sorry to my wife and my family and my kids.
Mr. Anderson gives the worst excuse ever. He cheated because of an argument. Brother, instead of apologizing, he picked cheating. This man needs serious decision-making skills.
Me and my wife, we had a bad, argument. I decided to go out and take Miss Lima out one night. And me and her went out to, the hotel. I brought her roses and, we had sex that night.
Is Miss Lima's assertion that this went on, she told your wife she was your girlfriend for a year?
Well,
that's not one night.
Mr. Anderson swears it was one night, but Ms. Lima laughs. She says it was every weekend for 2 years. Then she describes his house. Ms. Anderson's face, pure rage.
You say this only happened this one night.
It was a one-night stand.
You never saw her again. How often would you see Mr. Anderson?
We've seen each other for 2 years, every weekend, Saturdays and Sundays.
Was it strange to you that you only saw him on Saturdays and Sundays, or you thought he was working during the week?
Not really, because I went to his house numerous of times.
Excuse me. You went to his house numerous times?
Yes.
Just when you think it can't get worse, boom. Ms. Lima says she was with another guy too. No protection. Now we've got another possible baby daddy. The courtroom, a soap opera set.
I went to Mr. Anderson at first. I went to his family at first. I couldn't contact him, so I went to his family and I got rejected by them. So I was like, well, that really hurted me. So I was just like, well, let me move.
So you did sleep with another man during the window of conception during that time?
Correct.
And you were sleeping with both men without protection?
Well, I got in touch with him later, we met up and we had sex again when I was around 4 months pregnant.
Ms. Anderson listens to all of this and looks done. She reminds everyone, 5 kids, 5, and now she's dealing with this mess? I'd be packing my bags immediately.
Once we messaged each other, I asked her for her phone number because I want to talk on the phone. And when she was telling me the things that she was telling me, my whole world it caved in. Like, are you serious? This is my husband.
Because you all have built a lot together.
A business. We've been through a lot, Your Honor. And just the
children?
5.
Now, meet contestant number 2, Mr. Scott. He met Ms. Lima at a gas station, of course, and thought she was his girlfriend. Then he found out about Mr. Anderson. He looks like he wants to disappear.
During the time she was in a sexual relationship with Mr. Anderson, so you could possibly be this child's father.
Well, the situation was when I first met Mrs. Lima, we met at a gas station. Come February, I took her flowers to a job site, took her out to eat on Valentine's Day, and then in March we had a sexual intercourse.
Mr. Scott wasn't sure if the baby was his. He thought she looked like him, but didn't want to get attached. At this point, everyone's just waiting for that DNA test.
Have you met the baby?
Yes, Your Honor.
You have? Do you come visit her regularly?
No.
Why?
Because I have doubt in my mind that she may or may not be mine, Your Honor.
Look at her, do you see a resemblance?
Yes, I do.
Ms. Lima, when you look at your child, do you feel like she looks like one man or the other?
Mr. Anderson has a child that she looks exactly like, the way her eyes is.
You know what his kids look like?
Yes.
It gets worse. Ms. Lima met Mr. Anderson's kids. He brought them along to meet her. Ms. Anderson looks like she's about to throw a chair. And honestly, who could blame her?
He bring the kids around me, when we meet up and when he give me money, he'll bring the kids.
Give her money? Are you serious?
That is not.
That's how you feel?
He bring the kids with them?
Yes. I'm not sure who they thought I was.
That's how you feel? Who is she? They auntie?
That's not.
What are your hopes today, Ms. Lima? Do
really
you want this to be your child's father?
Yes.
Or do you want this to be your child's
No, you
my
don't.
child's father. He's more.
You want the baby daddy? might be the baby dad and it's not him.
Judge Lake opens the envelope. BAM.
Is the father of 1-year-old Christina. Mr. Scott, you are not her father.
You just stay right here.
This case had everyone hooked from the start, like a reality show gone wild. Ms. Hawthorne storms in, accusing Mr. Brown of ghosting her after getting her pregnant. Mr. Brown fires back, calling her a liar who's trying to trap him. The way they're arguing, you just know it's about to get messy.
You are here today because you say your high school sweetheart is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby. Mr. Brown, you say Ms. Hawthorne is a desperate liar who will say and do anything in order to have a family with you. You claim there is no way you could have fathered her child.
Just when things seem calmer, the long-distance drama kicks in. Ms. Hawthorne says they met online in high school, and she was loyal until he started seeing other girls. Mr. Brown shrugs, saying staying faithful from different cities was too hard. Judge Lake's face says it all. That excuse won't work here.
So you went to high school together?
No, we were separate. He's in Chicago and I'm in the suburb. We were dating online. That's how we found out about each other. And
but
so
it was during when you were in high school.
Right, and so we were dating online, but it actually took a year after we started seeing each other because we were young, we didn't have transportation.
So you met online, you lived in 2 different places.
Yeah.
Pure chaos unfolds. Mr. Brown insists they only hooked up once in August 2014. Ms. Hawthorne shuts that down, saying they were together in December 2015 when Chase was conceived. Then he drops the ultimate weak excuse. He didn't finish, so he can't be the dad. The audience erupts and Judge Lake looks ready to lose it.
Your Honor, we only had sex one time, and that was in 2014 in August.
Chase is 2 years old, so clearly it did go on and on past one sexual encounter. So what happened where you all reconnected during the period of time when Chase could have potentially been conceived?
It was in December 9th, 2015.
Mr. Brown flips the script, saying she had a boyfriend and can't be sure Chase is his. Ms. Hawthorne shuts that down, insisting she only had a male roommate. Judge Lake isn't buying it and asks the real question. You lived with a man and nothing happened? Mr. Brown shakes his head in disbelief.
Your Honor, she had a boyfriend at the time.
I did not. Me and this guy, we were roommates. We decided in June of 2015 to move in together.
You're gonna move in with someone and not have sex with them.
Yes.
A male being is not gonna try anything with you to have sex.
Not if he's just a friend. Not if we've never had that type of relationship.
Mr. Brown's got excuses for days. Ms. Hawthorne says he's only seen Chase 4 times in 2 years. He claims he felt trapped because she waited 14 weeks to tell him. Judge Lake isn't having it. Sir, you trapped yourself in the backseat of that car. The audience loses it.
Now Chase, 2 years old, you say Mr. Brown hasn't been a part of his life at all.
Not at all. He's only seen him 4 times.
Your Honor, I feel trapped in the situation because first off, you didn't let me know that you was pregnant until 14 weeks later.
So you trapped yourself in the backseat of the car when you really should have come and broke up with her, but instead you decide to have sex with her. When you in simple mode, you get simple results.
Ms. Hawthorne's mom pulls out text receipts. In one, he talks about Christmas presents for Chase. Judge Lake reads them aloud, and the courtroom reacts. So now you're buying gifts for a baby that's not yours? Mr. Brown backpedals, blaming his grandma's advice. His argument crumbles.
You submitted those texts to the court. You write to him and say, I'm afraid that Chase at this point will not have the Christmas he deserved. Things right with your son because he didn't ask to be born. He will have a good Christmas, no worries. I'll just start checking periodically on what he needs and deliver it to him. You think I'm happy about not being able to get him gifts on Christmas? I'm not. It hurts me.
The room is silent. Judge Lake opens the envelope.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
This courtroom is about to go off the rails, and we're only 5 seconds in. Judge Lake kicks things off with the case of Greer versus Thompson and Tolles. Ms. Greer drops a bomb right away. She cheated on Mr. Thompson on purpose just to get revenge. Now she's standing here confused about who her baby's father is. If that's not messy enough, just wait, because things only get crazier from here.
You are the mother of 1-year-old Lanaya. You say you regret cheating on the defendant, Mr. Thompson, as an act of revenge to hurt him.
This might be the pettiest revenge plan ever. Ms. Greer admits she cheated after she found out Mr. Thompson cheated first. Instead of just walking away like a normal person, she decided, you know what? I'm gonna get even by making my life way more complicated. She hopped on a dating website, met some guy she barely knew, and now here we are, trying to figure out who her baby's dad is. And trust me, the plot is just starting to thicken.
I found out that he cheated on me, and I wanted to get revenge. I met this man on a dating website. I slept with him. I found I was pregnant.
And you didn't use protection even with a man you barely knew?
No, ma'am.
Not only was he there for the birth, but he even let Ms. Greer and the baby move in with him and his family. She admits she had nowhere else to go because of a tough past, so his family took them in. He gave her and the baby a home, food, and support. Basically, everything except peace of mind about whether or not he was actually the dad. And just when you think this man can't be any more committed, social media strikes again.
Your Honor, after she left the hospital, she moved in with me and my family.
Oh, I didn't have no family that who cared about me. I was moved to foster home, so it was like really bad for me.
Facebook drama ruins lives, and here's your proof. One of Ms. Greer's own family members decided to air out her business on Mr. Thompson's page, of all places. They basically said, hey everyone, this baby might not be his. Stay tuned for the next episode of My Life is a Mess. Mr. Thompson was probably just scrolling through his feed, sipping some juice, and then, bam, his entire world flipped upside down. But oh, it gets even worse.
When one of her family members posted it on Facebook about that the baby's not mine, that it can be two other people I guess she was sleeping with.
Wait.
On my page.
On your page? Why would somebody do that in your family, Miss Greer?
They was jealous.
Plot twist. He didn't just help raise the baby. He's been a full-time dad. While Ms. Greer has been staying somewhere else, Mr. Thompson has been taking care of Linnea 24/7. He feeds her, clothes her, and puts her to bed every night. So now, the million-dollar question is, if he's not the dad, then what?
She's been living with me for the last 3 months.
She's been living with you?
Yes.
And where's Miss Greer? She lives with you all too?
No, she lived with my brother and his baby mama and his family.
Just when you thought things couldn't get any messier, another possible dad enters the chat. Meet Mr. Tolles. He met Ms. Greer on a dating site, and let's just say their relationship was straight to the point. She came over, they hooked up, no protection of course, and now he's here, wondering if he's got a surprise kid. Oh, and he didn't know she had a boyfriend. Mess level, maximum.
Let me start from the beginning when I first met her. When I met her on the website, we was talking for a minute that she just want to have. We ended up having sex, she was kissing all over me. I know she had her pants off.
Oh, you thought 2 potential dads was wild? Try 3. Mr. Tolles sees a Facebook post of Ms. Greer hugged up with another dude with the caption, true love. Now, suddenly, we have a possible third father. Ms. Greer swears it's not him, but at this point, does anyone believe her?
I don't know what to believe because she's a supposed lie. She said Mr. Thompson was her boyfriend that I did not know about. Then comes to find out around the time that I was the Thompson in the picture.
Okay, that's my ex-boyfriend, so.
Baby father.
Okay, so you see this picture posted with true love by it.
She insists it has to be either Mr. Thompson or Mr. Tolles. But just when you think this case couldn't get any weirder, Mr. Thompson pulls out some receipts about the baby's conception date.
So there's no way when I read these results, this young man is gonna factor in.
As I was looking at TV one day, I seen that it was an app that can tell when you can flip through the next page and see that I was not in Atlanta, Georgia at that time.
Here's where the math gets real messy. Mr. Thompson did a little detective work and found out the baby was conceived between January 1st and January 9th. Problem? He was out of town that whole time. The courtroom was shook, and now all eyes are on the DNA test results.
Possible dates of conception are January 1st through the 9th of 2012.
I was in.
And you just said you were not in town on January 1st through the 9th. I think it's time for the result.
Time for the moment of truth. Judge Lake reads the DNA results. Everyone in the courtroom holds their breath. Get ready for the biggest shock of the day.
It has been determined by this court that her biological father is Mr. Thompson.
He brought her to my doctor's appointment. That's disrespectful. I asked him, I was like, the day after my son was born, I said, you can come up here and see the baby. He said, oh no, I'm getting a ride.
And what does it matter if I drop him off? I was the only one willing to give him a ride to see his own kid.
That's disrespectful.
I have kids. I know what it's like being a single mom, and I would not be with Jesse if he would not take care of responsibility.
She cheated on me on my birthday.
I did not cheat on you.
She was gone with her ex on my birthday, and then come crawling back after that.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person that she's been with.
It's not true, Your Honor.
Ms. Clark says Mr. Newby bailed when she got pregnant because his new girlfriend, Ms. Faulkner, filled his head with doubts. Mr. Newby claims Ms. Clark was seeing someone else, and if he is the dad, wants custody because he thinks she's unfit. it. And just when it seems messy enough, emotions explode.
Ms. Clark, you claim that you and the defendant, Mr. Newby, dated for only 3 months before you became pregnant with his baby. You say the relationship was moving forward until he left you for a woman you claim is old enough to be his mother. It is your belief that she is the reason Mr. Newby is denying paternity.
Ms. Clark shares her tough past. Her dad's decided to eliminate himself, her mom's death, and addiction struggles during pregnancy. She admits to using drugs while pregnant, but says jail helped her clean up. The crowd applauds her turnaround, but the drama's far from over. Because, of course, it's paternity court, and it only gets messier.
Your Honor, when I met him, I was in drug use, but, we were together for 3 months. When he left me, I felt abandonment because when I was younger, at 13 years old, my dad had hung himself because of drug use. And then 5 years later, my mother had died when I was 18 years old because of cancer. So when he left me when I was 7 months pregnant, I felt abandonment and pain and agony.
Mr. Newby's suspicions take center stage. He thinks Ms. Clark cheated, and others kept feeding his doubts. He was initially excited about the pregnancy, even showed off the sonogram, but the gossip got to him. Then things take a strange turn involving fake baby photos.
When she first went to jail, she would call me, and I would talk to her because I was thinking that the baby might possibly be mine. I've had my doubts from the very beginning. She's constantly lied. She's cheated on me with her ex, 3-4 times?
No, only
like
once.
That. She was snoring.
You had doubts about being a father or whatever, then why'd you have this picture taken with me with the first ultrasound and being happy about being a father?
Things get weird when Ms. Clark admits sending Mr. Newby a random baby photo from the internet. Yep, a total internet baby to test if he cared. It only made Mr. Newby more suspicious. And that's not the end. Next up, it's all about hospital visits and boundary disputes.
Well, it was a picture of the internet. It sent him the picture, but I was just upset because he had left me to see if he would show any interest of seeing his son because he wasn't doing that.
You showed him a picture of a fake baby as if the baby had born.
Yeah,
yes.
A newborn baby. I got a picture on my cell phone. While I was at work, I showed my manager and ran home.
Hospital drama kicks off as Ms. Clark accuses Mr. Newby of showing up to appointments with Ms. Faulkner. She calls it disrespectful, while Ms. Faulkner claims she was just giving a ride. Clearly, no one's on the same page, and now they're arguing about who pays for what.
He brought her to my doctor's appointment. That's disrespectful. I asked him, I was like, the day after my son was born, I said, you can come up here and see the baby. He said, oh no, I'm
and what does it matter if I drop him off? I was the only one willing to give him a ride to see his own kid.
That's disrespectful.
I have kids. I know what it's like being a single mom, and I would not be with Jesse if he would not take care of responsibilities.
Ms. Clark accuses Mr. Newby of barely helping with the baby. He says he tried, but Ms. Clark always refused anything from Ms. Faulkner. Judge Lake jumps in, urging Mr. Newby to take more responsibility. But you can tell this fight is far from over, especially as the fitness to raise the child gets questioned.
I would call him and ask him if he can watch him or whatever, if he wants to see him. He said, I can't right now.
That is not true.
I want to take care of the baby. I tried taking care of the baby. You would not.
And when we bought stuff for the baby, she refused. She said, because Joanne got it, I don't want it. Because I bought it. She did not want to receive the gifts. And she did not want to want it.
But it's not your responsibility. It's his.
Our money is combined.
Yeah, the money.
I don't care.
Mr. Newby claims Ms. Clark is unfit because she used drugs while pregnant. Judge Lake points out Ms. Clark's efforts to get clean, and even Mr. Newby admits she's improved. It's all leading up to the big moment. The DNA results are about to be revealed.
How are you gonna be 7 months pregnant and then stick a needle into both of your guys' bodies?
But I
like that baby had to go through that for no
now,
reason. She didn't even give him a chance.
Ms. Clark admitted that that was an absolute irresponsible action, which was inexcusable. I heard her say that. Mr. Newby, you are the father.
Ms. Holshoe storms into court claiming her mom had a fling with the defendant's dad, making her their sister. The Howard sisters are furious and call her a liar. Ms. Holshoe points out her name in the dad's obituary, and the drama levels up with more accusations.
Ms. Holshoe, you claim your mother had an affair with the defendant's father, and today you're in court to prove that he is your biological father. Ms. Howard, you and your sisters say Ms. Holshoe is a delusional troublemaker whose promiscuous mother destroyed your family and ruined your home.
Ms. Holshoe says she has terminal cancer and wants closure on her dad. She heard about her real dad when her drunk stepdad spilled the tea during a fight. Her mom confirmed it, and things got messy from there.
I've recently learned that I have terminal cancer, and I'd like to have family history, and I also, which I know they don't want to, but I would also like to, because my stepdad was drunk, he was fighting with my mother, and he said, well, who do you think your father is? And so after that, my mother told me, she took me and introduced me to DL. we had a relationship from then on.
The Howard sisters admit their dad once mentioned Ms. Holshoe might be their sister, but brush it off, claiming her mom slept around. The courtroom erupts into a messy argument, feeling like a Thanksgiving dinner gone bad.
One time when I was 19 years old, my dad, he was in from California. My parents were already divorced. We were in from California. He had us all meet him out at a country bar. We showed up, that and her mother was there. And after about a half hour, we had some drinks and stuff, and my dad
I don't even remember that. She's lying, and I'm not a that. If anybody's a that, look over there.
Whatever the case may be.
The sisters talk about their dads cheating, but refuse to believe Ms. Holshoe. They share details from their lives, like detectives solving a case they want to ignore, throwing in some mean comments about her mom.
I was in California living with my father. We had packed up our things and moved out because my father had gone to at the bar where her mother was working and caught her cheating on him. Probably has no idea who any of her children belong to.
It's not my fault you guys don't want to know me. It's not my fault that your dad had sex with my mother, and I'm a product of that.
Ms. Holshoe says she was invited to a Howard family reunion by Mr. Howard, but the sisters lose it, calling her a liar. She claims they chased her out, which the sisters deny. It's turning into a real soap opera.
Your Honor, Mr. Howard invited me to a Howard family reunion.
Lies.
It was at Guilford Lake.
That is a total lie.
How does she know where the reunion is if she was invited or someone didn't tell her?
Your Honor, I have been to every single family reunion.
And I have been
she has never been.
Is it held at that location?
I'm sure that she has this information because she's gone from my other sister.
Kelly Howard says she believes Ms. Holshoe because their dad literally introduced her as her sister. Everyone is left wondering if their dad ever thought this situation would end well.
Well, we were out one day, and I was about 19, and he said that he wanted me to meet one of his girlfriends. Met several of them before. So we go to Lynn's mother. He introduces me to her as my sister. We just went about our way after that, and I just took it as for what it was and just...
You never questioned it?
No. Our dad never lied to us.
Judge Lake reveals the DNA results.
That the probability of half-siblingship between Diana Howard and Misty Lynn Holshoe is 98.1%.
Two moms, Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson, team up against Mr. Barber, accusing him of being a deadbeat dad. They want over $7,000 in child support, and they're not holding back. This is just the start of blames the moms for wanting too much money and causing drama. Miss Taylor claims he only cares about one kid because he's still sneaking around with that mom. It's like a soap opera, and the drama is just heating up.
The only reason you can't support the children you have with Miss Taylor and Miss Johnson is because they ask for too much money. They create too much drama.
Miss Taylor says she gave birth alone, while Mr. Barber flirted on his phone. He blames work, but she's not buying it. This is just leading to more tension.
I had my daughter by myself. My mother's deceased. My family could not get there. I come.
Judge Lake scolds everyone for all the shouting, saying it hurts the kids. She compares their constant fighting to nails on a chalkboard. The moms roll their eyes, and Mr. Barber tries to act calm. Let's see if anyone steps up. Miss Cooper, the third mom, actually defends Mr. Barber, calling the others bitter. She claims he's great with her kid. The room gets awkward, but the financial drama isn't over.
Do you feel like he treats your child differently?
No, I don't. I feel like he loves all his kids the same. I just feel like me and him have came to a common ground to co-parent. Our relationship and what we've been through, none of that matters.
Is he good?
Yes, he is. Very well. Love. She's a daddy's girl. She's the only one wants to be with him.
Johnson, 3,180. She tells Mr. Barber being a dad is more than just photo ops. It's like a game show where nobody wins.
You know, it is this...
A reality check. Time to grow up and stop letting his kids down. The moms hope he takes it seriously. It ends on a hopeful note, but this drama feels far from over.
When you got these women pregnant, you didn't know who you were. But now...
Wow, this episode kicks off with fireworks. Miss Jackson is in court to face her husband's mistress and prove the mistress's baby isn't her husband's. Oh, and she's ready to end her marriage if she's wrong. Yep, it's going to be one of those cases. Let's go. Discovery of the affair.
Miss Jackson, you say you're here to confront your husband's mistress and to prove her 1-month-old daughter, Kiesha, is not his biological daughter.
Your Honor.
Furthermore, you say you learned today that the child is in fact your husband's. Your marriage is over.
That's right, Your Honor.
Things get real when Miss Jackson tells the story of how she found out her husband was sneaking around. Oh, but Miss Jackson wasn't having it. This was just the warm-up round of the drama.
I got an epiphany. Call it woman's intuition, whatever you want. Well, I went to my husband's job. It was about 9:30 or 10:30 at night. He approached the car. We talked for a few minutes. To end our conversation, I told him, feel as though there's something going on that you hadn't told me. Because because he had been distant in the days prior to, I had put him out.
The mistress, Miss Lipscomb, tries to explain herself. And her story, it's wild. She says Mr. Jackson told her he wasn't married, even though he was rocking a wedding ring. But instead of smelling the lies, she bought his excuse. It's about to get even messier, so stick around.
When she came to their job, why did she come up there or why didn't she come up there? I've never seen her a day in my life. I knew her voice. I was sitting up, Mr. Jackson, and she calls and the kids calls. That's how I know her voice so high pitched. You can hear her through the phone. My BM, which is my baby mother. BM does not spell wife. Wife is spelled W-I-F.
Oh, she
not
can spell,
BM.
Your Honor. Wow.
Imagine catching your husband's mistress chilling in a hotel room you're paying for. Yeah, that happened. Miss Jackson recalls finding Miss Lipscomb at the hotel and letting her know exactly who the boss is. Spoiler alert, this showdown gets even crazier when Mr. Jackson shows up later.
Maybe a week after that, I was talking to, because my husband went to jail that night, Your Honor. I was angry enough. It was an impulsive decision, and I understand it was not the right decision, Your Honor, because I knew that he had some legal issues going on in another state. The next morning, I go to the room, find Miss Lipscomb laying in the bed crying.
I told you I was going back to the room, crying, talking to me.
Oh, here comes Mr. Jackson, looking like he just walked into a tornado. He admits he never told Miss Lipscomb he was married, saying, "She didn't ask." Really? That's the excuse? The judge isn't buying it, and honestly, neither are we. What happens next is gold. Miss Jackson's generosity.
Ms. Lipscomb says she had no idea you had a wife.
No, she didn't, because I never mentioned it to her, Your Honor.
So that part of her statement is true. You never told her you were married.
No, Your Honor.
When Miss Lipscomb first started talking, I didn't believe for 1 minute that she didn't really know you were married and confirmed the lie.
Oh, I didn't tell her no lie. I just didn't never mention it to her. She never asked.
You think Miss Jackson would be done, right? Nope. She actually bought baby stuff for the mistress's kid because she felt bad. She thought the drama was over, but surprise, Miss Lipscomb admits the affair never really stopped. This mess is nowhere near cleaned up.
Not only have we had conversations, before I didn't deny the child, I went and bought over $900 and some worth of stuff for her baby. Like I told her, from the conversation, Your Honor, she seemed really distraught. She said that, I don't know how it feels not to know who your child's father is, Your Honor. Whether it's my husband's child or not, out of the kindness of my heart, Your Honor, I understand that we all have shortcomings.
Just when you think it's bad enough, Miss Jackson drops another bomb. Miss Lipscomb might have had another boyfriend during all this. She even brings receipts, aka Facebook posts, to prove it. Let's just say, things are starting to feel more like a soap opera in real life. Hang tight.
I found out when I was in jail, because I guess the beginning of the year, her birthday time, she got sick and went to the hospital. And my wife told me that she said she was pregnant then.
On her Facebook page, Your Honor, she had listed that she was going to the hospital. At that time, Your Honor, she was with another man, and I have evidence.
This piece of evidence shows that she was also dealing with another man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, but Mr. Jackson didn't just sign the birth certificate. He was at the hospital. He put this baby on his wife's military benefits too. Like, that's not a big deal. The audacity, off the charts. And you already know, Miss Jackson is not about to let that slide.
He can cut the cord, but he was there.
So he did come for the birth?
Yes.
Mr. Jackson, did you sign the birth certificate?
Yes.
You did?
So if it's not his child, why would he sign the birth certificate? And even more to speak on her
Mr.
behalf.
Jackson, you've acknowledged paternity.
Yes.
Your Honor, that's why the baby was placed on my benefit.
The baby is what?
Placed on my benefit, Your Honor. I also have proof of that.
At this point, the whole courtroom is on edge as these two women go back and forth like it's the finals in a shouting competition. Miss Lipscomb says Miss Jackson is just using the baby as a reason to divorce Mr. Jackson. The judge steps in to say, enough already, but trust me, the next part is gonna leave you shook.
Oh, I just believe she wants to know if this is his child so she can divorce him. Don't use my child as a crutch. If you want to divorce him, divorce him. Don't use my child as a crutch. This woman is delusional. The whole time I was pregnant,
I'm delusional.
She swore that
married
she was pregnant
with my husband.
She's been pregnant 4 times since I have had my daughter.
Right here, that she sent me
I'm
pregnant
May.
now. That's the part that he hadn't admitted.
I told you every time.
The moment everyone's been waiting for. The DNA test comes back, and boom.
When it comes to 1-month-old Keasia Jackson, Mr. Jackson, you are not the father.
This kicks off like a reality show where nobody's winning. Mr. Burridge says he's been played and wants his name off the birth certificate, plus his money back for childcare. Mrs. Stephanies is fed up, saying Burridge was a great dad until now. Things are already wild, but they're about to get wilder.
Mr. Barrage, you've dragged Miss Stephens to court because you say you're being played for a fool. And when today's DNA results prove that you are not her daughter, father, you demand that your name be removed from her birth certificate and you be reimbursed for the past 8 months of child child care expenses.
Both had side flings. Welcome to the world's messiest love triangle. Burridge admits he had a girlfriend while seeing Miss Team Stephanie's, who also had another guy. Miss Stephanie says Burridge knew what he was getting into, but things turned awkward real fast. If you thought this was messy, just wait, there's more.
I also had another woman on the side, and you had another guy on the side.
And I never knew it was a girlfriend. We were together every day since the first day we started hanging out.
No.
But when I sent you the pregnancy test and told you I was pregnant, you said what? I'm gonna be in her life. That's my child. You was there, you signed the birth certificate, cut the umbilical cord. I didn't force you to do anything. You chose to do that willingly because you felt obviously that she was your child.
That's like a soap opera crossed with a bad rom-com. Burridge claims he was trapped into this baby, saying she wanted him away from his girlfriend. Ms. Stephanie says he chose to be there because he liked how she treated her kids. The judge looks like she needs a lie detector test for this one. But hey, it's just getting started.
That's my child. I'm gonna be in his or her life. He's saying that I was just something to do, but that was never my impression. Me and Fernando, we was together all the time. It wasn't no one night stand. We was together consistently every day. I didn't think we were in a relationship, but I thought it was more because I knew that my intentions was to get more than what it was.
And you also said this to me, talking like you gonna try to take me away from my girl. You know what I'm saying? Trying to set me up, trying to trap me.
This is nosy neighbor heaven. Gossip galore. Burridge says neighbors told him Stephanie's was seeing half the block, making him question if the baby was his. He even points out the baby's complexion is too different. Ms. Stephanie's rolls her eyes like she's had enough of this nonsense. The judge starts piecing things together, but it only gets weirder.
I didn't know how many guys she slept with. Guys coming out the blue in the neighborhood while I stayed, just come out the blue. I hit that.
Yeah, he's going off what other people saying. Ask him, does he know anything that's for sure? Not what people are saying.
Do you know for sure? Do you have any proof of this?
I have proof, Your Honor. For one, Your Honor, I don't have light blue, green, hazel eyes, Your Honor. So that's for one.
The other guy has light eyes.
Yes, Your Honor.
This part is either touching or hilarious. Burridge shares he didn't have a dad growing up and didn't want the same for Phelan, but now feels foolish. Ms. Stephanie says she thought Burridge was her ride or die, and now feels humiliated. Just when things seem settled, bam, a twist.
I really don't know who my father is, because my name ain't on the birth certificate other than what my mother tell me, but ain't no name on the birth certificate. On my generation, my close in that family, all the way to like 1874. And like far as our genetic code, we got big eyes, big nose, big lip. That baby got light eyes, little nose.
From you, Mr. Burridge, she's my child. Also, she can have my genes.
Things just got crazier. Ms. Stephanie's reveals she's 5 months pregnant with Burridge's baby. Burridge says she trapped him again, while she insists otherwise. The judge looks like she could use a coffee break, and honestly, same. But the drama isn't over yet.
My biological mom wasn't in my life, nor my father. I didn't meet him till I was 12. And ain't no telling if that's my biological father. Why would I put my children? Phelan is my 5th child. I'm pregnant again by Mr. Burridge. And what, to go through the same thing? I'm 5 months pregnant as we speak now.
She trapped me, Your Honor. She trapped me with this one.
Things get awkward fast. Stephanie's admits she was with another guy, but says it ended before Phelan was conceived. Burridge isn't buying it, thinking he might not be the only possible dad. The audience practically yells at their TVs, trying to solve this like a crime drama. The tension here could power a whole city.
Have you ever had a sexual relationship with this other guy? So you have. What he's saying is you've had a sexual relationship with this guy. For some reason, you're still around him all the time.
Because
unprotected sex, Your Honor.
Was it unprotected or protected sex?
Unprotected. When I met Mr. Burridge, that relationship, no, not at the same time.
It might be another man, baby.
Not
you know they got a name for themselves.
This had everyone rolling their eyes. Burridge says Stephanie's put voodoo on him, earning a look from the judge like, really? The judge points out Burridge signed the birth certificate and played dad. Stephanie says she wanted more than just a fling, and now she feels tossed aside. Finally, the moment of truth is near.
Both of you have stood in court today and testified that you feel like fools.
Yes, Your Honor. A special type of fool, though, Your Honor.
What kind?
She put some type of voodoo on me or something, Your Honor.
Acting like you don't care nothing about this girl. You are wasting my time. I'm trying to get to this paternity issue, and you trying to act like you don't care nothing about this girl. Hit it and quit it girl that you don't care nothing about.
The DNA results are the grand finale.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Burridge, you are her father.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge Lake kicks off Butterfield versus Bracknell Dallas, a messy paternity case about baby Kara. Butterfield claims he's the father, while Bracknell insists it's her fiancé Dallas. You can already feel the chaos brewing.
Mr. Butterfield, you've summoned your ex-girlfriend, Ms. Bracknell, to paternity court to prove that you are
are the father of her 2-month-old daughter, Cara. You say she's denying you are Cara's dad because she's worried her family will be torn apart when the results prove you are the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Butterfield says he and Bracknell planned for a baby, and during their breakup, she mentioned a gift. He wonders if that meant Cara feeling left out of her birth. The drama's just getting started.
Me and Mrs. Bracknell had a residence together for almost a year. We did try to have a baby together before. She had told me when we were breaking up, she said, "Thank you for the gift." And I said, "What gift was that?"
And then when you found that out, you thought to yourself, was that the gift?
The baby?
Yeah, you thought
My daughter, yes.
Bracknell says she found out about the pregnancy months after leaving Butterfield. She thinks the baby looks like her other kids with Dallas, but Dallas is ready to present some evidence next.
When did you find out you were pregnant?
Honestly, I didn't find out until I'd say 3 months after I did move out of his house. I was having irregular periods, so I just let it go for a minute. I'm not really a doctor person.
So what you're saying is when this relationship ended, you didn't know you were pregnant?
No.
But once you found out you were pregnant,
How could you not? You're not having periods.
Dallas brings out a calendar, claiming Bracknell moved in with him when Cara was conceived. Butterfield claps back, insisting he was still seeing her. The mystery deepens.
So this calendar outlines the date when the relationship with Mr. Butterfield and Ms. Bracknell. Cara was conceived in mid-September, and she was born in June. And she ended the relationship with Mr. Butterfield at the end of August. There's no way Mr. Butterfield is Cara's biological father.
Yes, ma'am. Dallas declares Cara his daughter, no matter the DNA results. Butterfield insists he'll step in if she's his. The room is tense, with emotions ready to burst.
Have you ever considered how you would react if, in fact, Cara is not your biological child?
You know what, Your Honor? I'm gonna love her the same. She's gonna be my little daughter. I'm gonna raise her my life. Nothing's gonna change. I love her to death, just like I do now. He's actually made our family stronger.
That's good. I'm not trying to get her back. I'm just trying to be in my daughter's life.
No, you just have a...
Butterfield found out about Cara via a Facebook post, someone else holding her. He accuses Bracknell of hiding it, but she denies it. The back and forth doesn't seem to end.
The only time that I actually ever found out that you guys were even pregnant, that's a Facebook post that they posted on that the baby was even. That's before I even knew.
It says, this little girl is ready.
Yep, that little girl is ready right there. And then I also, the only thing I got was a text message from of a friend saying of her sister holding my daughter.
Butterfield accuses Bracknell of cheating and even leaving him on his birthday. She denies everything. The tension rises as they prepare for the next round of accusations.
She cheated on me on my birthday.
I did not cheat on you.
She was gone with her ex on my birthday and then come crawling back after that.
She was gone with Mr. Dallas or somebody else?
Somebody else. There could be more than one person that she's been with.
It's not true, Your Honor.
When I found out about it, I messaged her mom, let him know I was coming. I blocked, obviously, on their
That you were coming? Let's explain that text message.
You guys even got together.
Butterfield insists Cara is his, pointing out physical similarities. Bracknell counters, saying Cara resembles Dallas and her other kids. Everyone's waiting for the DNA test to decide.
She looks more like me. Even her own family says it. They look like me. She's got my nose, she's got my lips, she's got my brown hair. All her boys are blonde.
Yep, and they've gone brown the older they get.
Exactly.
So you are convinced, Mr. Butterfield, this is your daughter?
Oh, I'm 100% convinced.
Judge Lake asks if Dallas would stay if Cara isn't his, and he says yes without hesitation. His devotion is clear, but the DNA results will soon shake everyone.
So therefore, if in fact Cara is not your biological child, will you be able to continue this relationship?
Oh, yeah.
You will?
Yep.
Okay. It has been determined by this court, Mr. Butterfield.
What did I tell you?
How long did this mistake
It lasted, I'd say, about 2 years.
2 years? This wasn't no mistake, this was a decision.
Exactly.
So for 2 years, you were sleeping with your wife's sister?
Yes.
Regularly? Yes.
Often, very often.
Without protection?
Without protection.
Lord, you just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world. Now, you don't?
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife?
No, she's not a victim.
She's not?
No.
Oh, fill us in.
Right away, you could tell this case was about to get messy. The Lang family wanted to know if Mr. Lang was baby Janelle's dad, but doubts were in the air. Ms. Brown and her mom came ready to argue, and it was clear this drama was just starting.
Mr. Lang, you and your mother, Ms. Lang, have been waiting in agony to find out if you're indeed the biological father of your little daughter, Janelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you want nothing more than for this child to be yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
Things got spicy when Ms. Ms. Lang said Ms. Brown hooked up with Mr. Dixon, Mr. Lang's old friend. Ms. Brown said that was a lie and Dixon was just trying to cause trouble. Everyone was throwing shade and it was only getting wilder.
Because I found out that Miss Brown slept with my son's best friend, from the sandbox best friend. I don't think she knows whether it's my son's or Mr. Dixon's.
I've never slept with Mr. Dixon. Mr. Dixon and Mr. Lang have been not friends for a while. They've been going at it, trying to fight each other.
So you're saying her assertion isn't true?
No, it's not true.
All right.
Their relationship sounded like a soap opera. Ms. Brown said Mr. Lang cheated constantly, but he was super excited when she got pregnant. Then, Mr. Dixon dropped hints that the baby might be his, making everything even messier.
I was at the doctor. I came home and I gave him the paper saying I was pregnant. He was excited. He stayed with me through the whole entire pregnancy, birth and delivery.
Did you have any doubts at that time?
Not at that time, no, I didn't.
And what made you start to have doubt?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh!
Mr. Lang was all in at the birth, cutting the cord and claiming the baby looked like him. That is, until he started questioning the baby's hairline. Ms. Lang chimed in with doubts, and the awkwardness was off the charts.
He thought it was his, and I interject right there. He thought it was his. She looked like him, to me too, right there. I said, oh, look at her, look at your baby, woo, 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 and all that. And then he pulled the hat off. He said, Mama, what's up with this hairline?
That is his daddy hairline. Stop playing.
Girl, please. That's what I said too. But his daddy is 51 years old.
The drama spilled onto Facebook, where everyone aired their dirty laundry. Ms. Brown and Ms. Lang went at it in the comments, dragging each other nonstop. This was peak chaos, but the big bombshell was still coming.
The whole 2 years we was in a relationship, every time we'd be on Facebook arguing anything, his mom would get on Facebook on her post and start getting into it every single time.
No, honey, I didn't get no child abuse. Yes, I did quit my job to raise my grandbaby, but that was then.
Why?
I have 2 jobs now.
Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
Ma'am, we have that kind of language in this court.
Oh boy, this starts like a crazy soap opera you didn't know you needed. Judge Lake introduces the case of Griffin versus Richmond. So, Mr. Griffin, a married dude, had a 2-year fling with his wife's stepsister, Mrs. Richmond. Now they're in court fighting over who the dad is. Trust me, you're gonna be shaking your head the whole time.
Mr. Griffin, you were a married man who had a 2-year affair with your wife's stepsister, the defendant. You say that relationship produced a daughter, but Ms. Richmond claims you are not her daughter's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, this is wild, like really wild. Mrs. Richmond admits she had the affair because she was young and careless, and Mr. Griffin confirms it went on for 2 years without protection. Judge Lake wastes no time calling them out for their decisions, especially since it's all in the family. But wait, things get even messier, like family reunion is ruined messy.
How long did this mistake
It lasted, I'd say, about 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years? This wasn't no mistake, this was a decision.
Exactly.
So for 2 years, you were sleeping with your wife's sister?
Yes.
Regularly?
Yes.
Often, very often.
Without protection?
Without protection.
Lord.
This is where it gets extra awkward, y'all. Mrs. Richmond says she and Mr. Griffin got close because he'd give her rides home after visiting her stepsister. Mr. Griffin casually mentions he'd been married for a decade at the time. No biggie, right? But just wait, because their bonding time comes with a whole lot of drama to unpack.
Because he was taking me home from when I used to go over to their house to visit my stepsister and stuff.
How long had you been married at the time, Mr. Griffin?
I'm still about 10 years.
So you all had known each other for an extended amount of time.
All in the family, Your Honor. I was in love, so I think that's why I chose to tell him first before anyone else that he was the father.
Oh, you're gonna love this part. It's peak awkwardness. Mrs. Richmond says she told Mr. Griffin she was pregnant, and he was like, yeah, sounds about right. But then, nothing. No follow-up, no real conversation. Turns out, that was just the warm-up for the chaos coming next.
As I remember, he said yes right off. He came over to my house, and he picked her up, and he went up on the stairs, and he, put her up to the light, and he said, yeah, she could be mine. And that was the last we ever discussed her really seriously, of him seeing her actually, of me and him talking about her, being I never seen her. Yeah, I've never.
That's because she left.
Hold on.
This is where you realize keeping track of everyone is like solving a puzzle with missing pieces. Mrs. Richmond admits she was with 2 other guys around the same time, but still only told Mr. Griffin about the pregnancy. Mr. Griffin stays confident he's the dad, but let's be real, this story is already bananas. And don't worry, it gets even more bonkers from here.
I did tell him that I was pregnant, but also So I did tell him he was the father, but at the time he also knew I was, you know, with other people also, and he was a married man, so, and I'm sure he was with other people too, so I was with 2 other guys, no.
Why did you only choose to tell Mr. Griffin?
Mr. Griffin was the one I was with mostly all the time, mostly.
Right.
Now, here's where it feels like a detective show. Mr. Griffin's other daughter, Lakesha, found Tykia's name on child support papers while snooping around his room. She decided to hit up MySpace, remember that ancient site, and send Tykia a message saying, "Hey, I think we're sisters." Of course, Tykia thought this was crazy, but trust, it only gets weirder.
Well, I was in my dad's room one day because my sisters was taking up the other mirrors, so I was in there doing my hair, and I see some mail from Jackson County Child Support, and I began to look at it, and I seen her name, Tykia's name. After that, I decided to look her up on MySpace so I could see what she looked.
Who told you about her?
My mother.
Plot twist alert. Mrs. Richmond says a DNA test from years ago proved Mr. Griffin wasn't the dad. But then Mr. Griffin is like, hold up, I got papers saying I am the dad. So who's lying here? Honestly, this whole thing is turning into one big he said, she said situation, and it's about to explode.
When I moved to Wisconsin with her, when she was almost 2, we took a paternity test at that time, okay? I went on and did the child support, and she told me that, well, the test proves that he's not the father, so do you have another name to give me?
You were told he was not the father?
Yeah.
Do you remember submitting to this DNA testing years
I
ago?
do, and from my knowledge, that I got the paper saying I was.
And then, bam, the mood shifts hard. Tykia shares how losing her husband made her want to find out who her real dad is. She talks about the heartbreak of him dying on the same day as her possible sister's wedding. Seriously, this family's timing is the worst. If you thought this was just a messy drama, get ready for some real tears.
One of the other sisters, Griffin sisters, her wedding was May 21st, 2011. She invited me and my husband believed I looked like some of the other sisters. He was like, yeah, we should go. I don't think they're your family, so why would you go all the way to Michigan to a wedding?
You'd think Mr. Griffin would step up here, but nope, he's full of regret and late apologies. He says sorry for not being there for Tykia, but Judge Lake doesn't let him off easy, calling him out for his role in the mess. This is the part where you start yelling at your screen. And then, just when you think it can't get crazier, the results are finally in.
Well, I'm sorry for your husband, and I wish that I had been there for you. I'm sorry for not being there for you.
I do believe you have a level of regret. You come from a generation where I'm sure there was a level of well enough alone. Some people believe that. We hear those stories in this courtroom.
Brace yourself, because this reveal is something else.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Griffin, you are not her father. 32 years of thinking you were this woman's father.
The episode begins with everyone settling in the courtroom. Mr. Kidd insists he's the dad, but Ms. Rawlings says, nope, not you. She claims he knew he couldn't have kids, so why act surprised?
Mr. Kidd, you say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family, and you are 100% positive are her son's father.
Mr. Kidd believes the child is his because Ms. Rawlings told him so and even wrote him letters. He says, she said it's mine, so it's mine. But clearly, the court session shows it's not that simple.
Well, Your Honor, when this first started off, she came to me and told me that he was mine. She was sending me letters when I was gone.
And so you were away when she found out she was pregnant?
After, I went away a month after she found out she was pregnant.
And did you tell him it was his child, Ms. Rawlings?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Rawlings explains she was seeing another guy at the same time. She denies ever telling Mr. Kidd he was the father, saying he just assumed. This love triangle is messy and complicated.
How it happened was we met through a mutual friend. I didn't know anything about Mr. Kidd starting off. My mutual friend ended up leaving, and the situation that I was in, everything progressed and everything started off. Somehow another female came into the picture. I went off and did my own thing and was dealing with him and another gentleman also.
Ms. Rawlings says Mr. Kidd's rare blood issue makes it hard for him to have kids and might harm her baby. Ms. Jenkins, Mr. Kidd's mom, says it's not as dramatic as it sounds, but still raises questions. Cue the drama and confusion.
When I found out I was pregnant, Mr. Kidd told me himself that he has some type of rare form blood disease, that me and his child would die if I was pregnant by him.
Your Honor, it's not a rare blood disease. I am ARH negative and he is ARH negative. If she's RH positive and doesn't get the necessity shot during the pregnancy, it could prevent her from having future children or that child could pass away.
Ms. Jenkins Jenkins discovers Nathaniel through a photo and says, "This baby looks like my son's twin." After meeting him, she's convinced he's her grandson. Her determination drives the case forward.
I got a phone call from my daughter, and she said, "Mom, you need to look at this picture." Sent me a picture of the baby. I was like, "Who got my son's baby pictures?" She said, "That's not your son." I said, "Yes, that is. I gave birth to him. I know who he is." So I contacted his friend who gave me Miss Rawlings' number. I called her and asked. We talked for a couple weeks, and I asked if I could see the baby, and she said yes.
Ms. Rawlings lets Ms. Jenkins visit Nathaniel, saying it's good for him to have family memories. Despite her doubts about paternity, it's a heartfelt moment with lingering tension.
Me being me as a mother, and I wasn't able to grow up with my father. If Mr. Kid can't see the moments that he's missing, at least his mom will be able to have them, and his family has some stories to tell.
It's truly a beautiful sentiment, but as you stand here at the defendant podium, you say you know Mr. Kidd is not your child's biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Rawlings mentions another man who could be the dad. He even visited the hospital, thinking the baby resembled him. The plot thickens as the courtroom awaits clarity.
The other potential father, did he ever acknowledge that he could be the father?
Yes, he did, because he was the one that actually told me to get a test to see if I was pregnant. And me and him were sick together, looking at pictures, and he questioned it again. He was like, "Are you sure the other guy is your child's father? Because he looks like me." And going through pictures, Dad, even his brothers said, yeah.
Ms. Jenkins reveals she cared for Nathaniel when Ms. Rawlings struggled, even using a handwritten custody note. It was the best solution at the time, adding another twist to the case.
She was going through a situation and got kicked out of where she lived because her choice of men are not just the greatest, I guess, in the world. He wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. She was trying to get her life together. She gave me the baby a period of time with a handwritten.
How long?
I had him for a month and a couple days. And I got a handwritten letter of custody.
Dr. Gator explains Mr. Kidd's condition doesn't completely rule out fatherhood. While interesting, it leaves the courtroom still eager for definitive answers.
So I think there's two separate issues here. There was an issue about RH blood incompatibility.
Yes.
And that has to do with a mother and a baby. And if there's different blood types between the father of the baby, positive and negative, from mumps to repeated urinary tract infections to STIs like gonorrhea and chlamydia, which then causes scarring and makes it difficult for you to emit sperm.
The results reveal
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Kidd, you are the father.
Buckle up, because this is where the madness begins. Looper vs. Downs kicks off with Miss Looper, accusing Mr. Downs of denying her twins, Brayley and Bishop. She thought he was a sweet family guy, but the drama quickly proves otherwise.
Ms. Looper, you say you thought the defendant was a respectful, church-going family man who turned out to be anything but. You claim that after giving birth to your twins, Brayley and Bishop, Mr. Downs denied fathering your babies.
Mr. Downs denies paternity, claiming suspicious texts on Miss Looper's phone point to other possibilities. Their rocky relationship, full of secrets, spirals into chaos. You won't believe how fast things unravel.
I was at her house. Just something told me to pick up the phone, and I did it. And I'm looking through the phone. I'm like, okay. And I bring it to her, and I'm seeing messages from other dudes and all this other stuff. So I'm like, what is this? Messages are just trying to, hook up with her and stuff like that. So
Is she accepting the advance?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
Yes, Your Honor. I was in the process of closing those doors.
Wedding plans within 2 months, but then Mr. Downs finds sketchy texts from other guys on her phone. This is where the real drama kicks in.
Yeah, we moved really fast. We had a wedding date in 2 months. Relationship changed tremendously though after he went through my phone. Our vibe was different. We weren't hanging out as much. When I found out I was pregnant, I called him and he didn't even answer. I sent him a text message. He was really nonchalant about it, but rub my feet, rub my belly. He would get up at 2 a.m., go get me ice and hot Cheetos. He took me to every ultrasound appointment if he didn't have work.
The twins arrive, and Mr. Downs questions Brayley's paternity right in the hospital, citing her lighter complexion. Awkward doesn't even begin to cover it.
As soon as they brought Brayley into the room, the first thing he said was, "Do you guys do DNA tests here? I've never had a kid come out that light." That's the first thing he said when he seen her. But he did go see my son.
I know it don't really matter about the complexion and stuff, but like I said, all my kids favor me just extremely. I looked at Bishop. I seen more Bishop in me than Brayley. At the same time, like I said, I know there's another man been involved.
A Snapchat photo leads another man to claim Brayley might be his daughter. together, raising more questions. The saga of who's the daddy only gets wilder.
After I had the baby, I posted Brayley on Snapchat, and the other guy who the messages he's seen wrote me and sent me a picture of his daughter and told me that, like, I believe that that's my daughter.
Wow, so you posted a picture of Brayley, and the other man you were having sex with wrote to you and said, I think this is my daughter.
Correct.
Both parents entertained the idea that the fraternal twins might have different fathers. Cue the messiest revelations yet.
Mr. Downs, do you feel like you could be the father of one twin and someone else be the father of the other?
Yes, ma'am. I just like with Bishop, I felt the bigger bond with my son. Like every time I see him when we video chat, like his face just lights up when I'm talking to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? He knows my face, he knows who I am. My son, man, when I see him, and it's like we connect.
Miss Looper moves to California with the twins, leaving Mr. Downs in the dust. He comes home to an empty house and panics, only to discover she's gone without explanation.
Yeah, I left to California.
Why did you leave for California?
For several reasons. I was unhappy with our relationship at this point, and we were gonna have to move back with his mom, and they're gonna be uncomfortable with me. They're like, I'll take it from my mom, not yours. Like, I just felt more comfortable going home. I was unhappy in the relationship, like it wasn't working.
So you went back home.
Correct.
I feel like that she knew more than what she was telling me from the jump.
Mr. Downs' frantic calls finally reach her, and her casual response leaves him and everyone else stunned. But the biggest shocker is still ahead.
So I get to my house and there's nobody there. So I'm thinking somebody done came in my house. Anybody could have did something to my kids, my girl. So I'm like, man, what's going on? So I'm calling and I'm blowing his phone up and I don't get no response. So then I'm really starting to get worried. As soon as I call, she picks up the first ring. I'm like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Oh, I'm with a friend. I was like, no, you're not with no friend. You're gonna tell me where you at with my kids.
The DNA results reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Downs, you are not the father.
Oh boy, here we go. Miss Reed kicks things off by suing Miss Austin for $5,000 because she thinks Miss Austin broke up her marriage. Oh, and she wants a DNA test to prove her husband didn't father Miss Austin's baby. Yep, it's already a mess.
Ms. Reed, you are demanding that Ms. Austin have a paternity test administered on her child, whom she claims was fathered by your estranged husband. Additionally, you are suing his mistress, Miss Austin, in the amount of $5,000 for alienation of affections.
Miss Austin claps back, saying she doesn't owe Miss Reed anything because she wasn't the one married, and maybe Miss Reed needs to worry about herself. The courtroom vibe is already spicy, and you can just feel the tension in the air.
Ms. Austin, you say you are here today to defend your reputation and prove that Mr. Wallace is the father of your child. You argue that you do not owe Ms. Reed anything, and she needs to move on with her life, pay her own bills.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Miss Reed spills all the tea about how she found out about her husband's affair. Spoiler alert, it involved a random phone call, a shocked wife, and a girlfriend who apparently didn't know about the wife. And that's just the warm-up.
And I found out about Mrs. Austin. One day I came in from the hospital from having my second child, and Ranielle's phone rang, and I just so happened to answer the phone. Mrs. Austin, she said, I'm Ranielle's girlfriend. I said, Ranielle's girlfriend, did you know that Ranielle was engaged to me, just had a baby? She said, no. I packed my things and I left with my 2 kids at the time, and I went and stayed at my aunt's house.
If you thought things couldn't get wilder, Miss Austin jumps in to say she had no clue Mr. Wallace was married when they met. Turns out Facebook exposed him because she saw wedding pics Miss Reed posted. Classic.
When I met Ranielle, they was not married. He never told me that they was engaged neither. I found out on Facebook that Ranielle and Mrs. Reed was married when she posted a picture up there of their marriage life. That's when I found out. And yes, I did confront Ranielle about the marriage, but at the same token, Ranielle would never came to me if Dominique was Miss Reed was taking care of home, right?
Miss Austin blames Miss Reed, saying if she had been a better wife, Mr. Wallace wouldn't have been looking for attention elsewhere. Miss Reed is not having it and calls her out for being a willing side chick. It's a lot, and we're just getting started.
Your Honor, that means that she didn't mind playing the role as his little mistress, because any woman wouldn't sit there and be in a relationship with a man that has a woman. Like, as me as myself, I have respect, and I don't want to be no one's mistress.
Well, he led me on. When they was married, Ranielle was calling, he was texting me, telling me how he wants to get away from Dominique. The reason why he said he was with her is because of her money. That's what he said.
Enter Mr. Wallace, the man at the center of all this chaos. He struts in, admits to cheating, and says he has 3 kids with Miss Reed. Oh, and he doesn't look one bit sorry. Like, not even a little.
You married to Ms. Reed.
Yes.
But you were sleeping with Ms. Austin. You just standing there, Mr. Wallace, like you don't have a piece of remorse in the world. Now, you don't?
No, ma'am.
You don't have any issues with cheating on your wife?
No, she's not a victim.
She's not?
No.
Oh, fill us in.
Miss Reed roasts him for constantly coming back to her while spending Miss Austin's money on their family. Mr. Wallace just stands there like he's in a casual conversation, not the middle of a disaster. This guy has nerves of steel, or maybe no shame at all.
If you was precious to be in a relationship with me, why did you constantly come home to me? Why did you constantly, every time I got off work, was there, and you could have left and went home to your mother, your sister, or whoever the case may be? Your Honor,
she says you kept coming back, and she said that you were spending Miss Austin's money that she was sending to you on her.
Correct. And
yes.
Everybody's laughing.
Miss Austin insists her baby is Mr. Wallace's because they didn't use protection, unlike her other guy. Yes, you read that right. There's another guy. This love triangle is turning into a love octagon.
Don't you say no, boy, and she look just like you. Everything you want, she got on that, everything.
she looked like the other guy who is currently her boyfriend.
I had sex with Raniel first, and I used unprotected sex with Raniel, and I used protected sex with the other boy. But
Your Honor, she's lying. The boy told me that he had unprotected sex with Demiria several times because he do not like to use protection.
Miss Reed chimes in to talk about how her kids now get less attention and support from their dad since Miss Austin came into the picture. If things weren't messy enough, Miss Austin throws more shade and now everyone's yelling. Fun times, right?
The whole situation is just wrong. I was there for Raniel for whatever, and he still went out and cheated on me with Mrs. Austin, and it was wrong.
You feel like it was her fault that he went out?
I feel like it was his fault too because, like, she didn't know what was going on, like she said. Raniel was sitting up lying to her, so I can't really blame her. But then again, I can because she knew all about me and still slept with my husband. She still was in a relationship with my husband.
Wait for it, a third woman enters the chat. Miss Roberts claims she has a 5-month-old baby with Mr. Wallace, and he's denying paternity. You can almost hear the audience gasp.
I also have a 5-month-old child by Mr. Wallace that he claims he's not the father of.
You also have a 5-month-old child that you say was fathered by Mr. Wallace, but he's denying that child as well.
Yes.
Hold on 1 second. Just 1 second.
Judge Lake shuts down Miss Reed's alienation of affection claim, saying Mr. Wallace was the one chasing after these women. But let's be real, this third baby drama has everyone questioning just how messy this guy's life really is.
Now, in order for you to sue for alienation of affection, you have to prove that this woman, young woman, planned to destroy your marriage. I don't see that. It was his free will that started this affair. Are we clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
So for this reason, my judgment is for the defendant.
The moment of truth, Mr. Wallace is the father of Miss Austin's baby. Miss Austin celebrates like she just won the lottery, while Miss Reed is not impressed. Meanwhile, Mr. Wallace looks like he just remembered he left the stove on.
In the case of Reed versus Austin, when it comes to baby Demiria, Mr. Wallace, you are her father.
Told you, dummy. She looks just like you, dummy.
Miss Roberts gets her turn, saying Mr. Wallace didn't tell her he was married. She also claims he's dodging responsibility for her baby. Mr. Wallace? He says the kid doesn't look like him, which of course makes everyone roll their eyes.
Ms. Roberts, you are here requesting a paternity test to prove to the defendant, Mr. Wallace, that he is the father of your 5-month-old son, Danielle. You have asked the court to administer a lie detector test to prove he's still trying to be with you.
Miss Roberts and Miss Reed team up for a moment to roast Mr. Wallace's weak excuses. The courtroom is basically a reality show now, with everyone yelling and interrupting each other. It's like a soap opera, but somehow even more chaotic.
Miss Austin told me that he was married. One day, she's supposed to have snuck into his phone and sent us texting or whatever, so she called me. Did he tell you he had a girlfriend that we was in a relationship?
Mr. Wallace, ask for Ms. Roberts. When you met her, did you tell her you were married?
I forgot.
Forgot.
Just when you think Mr. Wallace might say something smart, he doubles down and says he'd cheat on Miss Reed again. Yep, he really said that. The audacity is off the charts.
You don't have to go through, Judge.
Mr. Wallace, you know what? This is a sad state of affairs to see 3 beautiful young women act a fool over you.
This kicks off with a bang, setting the stage for pure chaos. Mr. Mitchell wants 2 DNA tests to confirm if he's the dad of his estranged wife's kids. Ms. Dalton admits to cheating, but hopes to patch things up. Things are heating up fast.
Mr. Mitchell, you are petitioning the court for 2 DNA tests to determine if you are the father of your estranged wife's 2 children, 2-year-old Deshaun Jr. and 1-year-old Bishop.
Mr. Mitchell shares how Ms. Dalton ditched him and their kids, leaving him to fend for himself. She handed him food stamps, wished him luck, and disappeared. Now he's not just upset, but questioning the kid's paternity. Ms. Dalton's version, even messier.
Over the past few months, Ms. Dalton put me and my kids through a lot, Your Honor. You know, she done left, and in between the last 7, 8, 9 months, you know, she done made us struggle. She done walked out on us, Your Honor. What I'm trying to do right now, Your Honor, because I get very emotional when it comes to talking to my kids, because
that's understandable.
How she abandoned us, Your Honor.
Ms. Dalton claims Mr. Mitchell's exaggerating and explains she left due to personal struggles. Yes, she cheated, but their relationship was already rocky. She insists she didn't abandon the family maliciously. Both sides are throwing blame, and the tension only builds.
In the beginning, me and Deshaun, like, we weren't really, like, serious when we had our first son. I did cheat on him in the beginning.
Your Honor, what
he
it
went
is?
away for some time, and like I said, from the beginning, I've been doing everything by myself. He wasn't working. Pregnant with my first son, I worked 2 jobs to make sure that the household was taken care of. He didn't work. He gambled. You know, he didn't do anything.
Mr. Mitchell describes how he braved tough times to care for the kids, while Ms. Dalton was allegedly living her best life. She fires back, saying she worked 2 jobs to support them. The finger-pointing intensifies, and infidelity enters the conversation.
Where I was forced to leave my home.
Nobody forced her to leave. When she left me, Your Honor, and left the kids and walked out, Your Honor, I was on our city bus in the freezing cold with my 2 kids.
I did the
going
same.
to all my kids' their appointments they had to go to. I was making sure that me and my kids had what we needed, Your Honor, because I didn't have anything.
But it's also what a parent does.
Yes, Your Honor, you're absolutely right.
You get it done.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Mitchell reveals a man called claiming he was with Ms. Dalton and might be the father of her baby. She denies it, but trust is long gone. Past affairs and secret calls emerge, and things get wilder when their age gap becomes a talking point.
When there was an issue,
yes, I
you
did
admit you left.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes,
I said
you did.
I was living with my sister.
So
Your Honor.
during the time, did you sleep with another man?
In the beginning, yes. But since we've been married, no.
She was just with another man, Your Honor, so we're still married. I don't
And
know.
we were separating, and we both agreed on the separation. We weren't together. We were going to move on
Your
with
Honor,
our lives.
I
Divorce.
never talked to her.
The judge highlights their age gap. He's 37, she's 21, and they married when she was 19. Both admit their marriage has been rough, with plenty of growing pains. They keep debating who's at fault as the paternity results loom.
While I empathize, would feel like to raise 2 beautiful young boys, but you constantly have a question as to whether or not they are your biological children, I'm sure that is difficult. You must have understood as a 35-year-old man, when you marry a 19-year-old, you're gonna have some growing pains in the marriage because she's still growing up.
Yes.
The moment of truth.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Mitchell, you are Bishop's father. Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating.
So this was your high school sweetheart?
Yes, I lost my virginity to him.
This case is already wild. Ms. Hawthorne calls Mr. Brown a smooth-talking deadbeat, while he's over here saying she's a desperate liar. The courtroom is buzzing with what is even happening vibes. Buckle up, it's going to get messier.
Ms. Hawthorne, you are here today because you say your high school sweetheart, Mr. Brown, is a smooth-talking deadbeat who got you pregnant 3 years ago and is now denying your baby.
It started sweet, but turned into a train wreck. Ms. Hawthorne says Mr. Brown was her high school sweetheart and first love, but then he started cheating. Just when you think it's predictable, there's a sharp left turn.
This baby isn't mine. I desperately believe that she's emotionally attached to me and she desperately wants to have a family with me.
It's not true because me and DeAndre, we were in a relationship. We were high school sweethearts. You know, I was all about him and everything. Everything was good until he started cheating. So I lost my virginity to him.
This drama kicked off with an online high school romance. They chatted for a year before meeting, and now their stories don't even match. The awkwardness is already palpable, and it's only getting started.
We were dating online. That's how we found out about each other.
Oh, so you all met online?
Online, after we started seeing each other, because we were young, we didn't have transportation.
So you met online, you lived in 2 different places.
Yeah.
And you all were going back and forth.
Yeah.
Until you figured out how to meet up.
Yes.
How long after you met online did you meet up?
A year.
Straight out of a teen drama, Mr. Brown went to break up with her, but ended up in the backseat instead. He's all, it just happened, while Ms. Hawthorne thought it was a reunion. The courtroom's collective what says it all.
We was in the car and we we ended up getting into a heated moment, and both of us started kissing and ended up having sex in the back seat.
We were talking about getting back together, Your Honor.
You told her this is the last time you're gonna see each other. And you said he was trying to figure out how to fix the relationship.
Yes, that's
so
what we
you have
talked
sex
about.
in the back of this car.
Yes.
Ms. Hawthorne waited a day to tell Mr. Brown about Chase's birth, claiming they weren't on good terms. Judge Lake is like, Dad still deserves to know. Cue the frustration for everyone watching.
When Chase was
Yes.
born, do you notify Mr. Brown?
No. We were not on like good speaking terms at the moment.
But this is the father of your child.
Yes.
So speaking terms or not, didn't he deserve to know that the child was about to come into the world?
I notified DeAndre September 24th, so a day right after.
Your Honor, how if the baby is
That don't
born?
make no kind of sense.
Ms. Hawthorne's mom comes in strong, accusing Mr. Brown of neglect. She lists all the ways she supported Chase, while Mr. Brown's been absent. Just when it seems she's said it all, the plot thickens.
Definitely, I believe that he has said it on texts that he has sent, all kinds of proof. He looked just like him. I mean, how can you deny that beautiful baby? I mean, he's gorgeous. To say, no, this is not my child, is ridiculous. And he's never been there for him. I'm one person can say he's never been there because I do everything for him. I buy his food, I get his milk. I am the father.
The texts are the gotcha moment. Mr. Brown's messages about helping and calling Chase my son make him look guilty. He's backpedaling hard, but things are about to escalate.
You write to him and say, I'm afraid that Chase at this point will not have the Christmas he deserves. Make things right with your son because he didn't ask to be born. He will have a good Christmas, no worries. I'll just start checking periodically on what he needs and deliver it to him. I'm trying my best here. You think I'm happy about not being able to get him gifts on Christmas? I'm not. It hurts me.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Brown, you are not the father.
This starts wild, and you're not ready. Judge Lake introduces Hannon vs. Dorsey. Phelan Hannon's figuring out if David Dorsey is her dad after her mom dropped this bombshell before she passed. This is messy, and trust me, it gets messier.
Miss Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, I am not your daddy.
Yes, ma'am.
Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father.
If you thought your life was dramatic, think again. At 13, Phelan's dad said, not my problem, kid, when she asked him to a daddy-daughter dance. Processing that as a teen? Rough. And it's about to get even crazier.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day for the daddy-daughter dance. Instead of his response being, yes, I'll be there, it was, your mother's still lying to you, not your dad, you need to go find your real dad.
How cruel.
This feels like a movie, but it's real life. On her deathbed, Phelan's mom confessed David Dorsey was her real dad. She admitted she picked the wrong guy. Imagine hearing that before your mom's final moments. David's reaction? Just wait.
My mom, we would have our heart-to-hearts, you know, when she got sick, 'cause she was sick my whole entire life. She would talk about David. On her deathbed, she told me, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David's your father.
So just before your mother passed, she says to you, I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Strangers kept mistaking Phelan for Melanie Dorsey, David's daughter. People even called her by that name. Despite the hints, she'd never met David or Melanie until now. Their first meeting, not what you'd expect.
After my mom's passing, I moved away. My grandmother got sick, so I came back. I was actually at work, walking down the hall. She was calling me Melanie, walking down the hall. Melanie, do you hear me talking to you? She got all the way close, and I'm like, ma'am, that's not my name. Melanie, but you're talking about Melanie Dorsey, right? And she's like, yeah. I said, I heard it in high school. I look just like a girl. I need to meet her. It's my sister. We need to find out. And the friend that said it, you know, he approached my mom.
David walks in and says, don't know you or your mom. The audience is shook. The judge isn't buying it, and Phelan's got receipts. It's like a soap opera, and she's just getting started.
She's been told that you are her biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
You walk through the doors, you walk right past her, no hug. You didn't even really look at her, acknowledge her.
I acknowledged her. I looked at her.
You don't believe you're her biological father?
Not really, because I don't remember her mother at all.
You don't know her mother?
No.
David's denial is relentless, but Phelan's godmother spills all the tea. She saw David with Phelan's mom back in the day. David denies everything, but the tension is real. Then his daughter enters the scene.
Me and Phelan's mother, Veronica, we work together. Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom, her baby daddy being David. He still looks the same, but he had just got a little heavier.
Your Honor,
You don't remember any of
Your
this?
Honor, I've never had sex with this woman.
You worked at the fast food restaurant, though.
Yes, ma'am.
Melody, David's daughter, comes in strong, claiming Phelan as her sister. She's heard the rumors, sees the resemblance, and calls out her dad. It's funny, emotional, and awkward all at once.
You know we are here discussing the paternity as it relates to Ms. Hannon.
Yes, I'm here to claim my sister. That's my sister. I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone. He was the man, and like he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the slayer of women. So
Phelan's trying to stay strong, but she just wants closure. David's still in denial, but feels bad for her. The judge is ready for the DNA results, and you'll need to brace yourself for the twist.
Truly, Mr. Dorsey, I can't get much testimony out of you because you honestly don't remember.
No, I don't.
And Ms. Hannon have formed as sisters, you believing and accepting and loving her as a sister.
I don't know about her mother's infidelity. Only thing I know is that Fallon is my sister.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Dorsey, you are not the father.
The case of Webb versus. Cole kicks off with Judge Lake, trying to figure out if Mr. Webb is the dad of Ms. Cole's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. Mr. Webb swears up and down that he's never even been intimate with Ms. Cole. Meanwhile, Ms. Cole is super confident he's the dad and accuses him of lying to protect his relationship.
Mr. Webb, you and your girlfriend say there's no chance whatsoever that you fathered the defendant's 6-month-old daughter, Majestic. You say your evidence will shock this courtroom. Cole, you and your mother say you're 100% certain that Mr. Webb is your child's biological father and say the only reason he's denying your baby is to save his relationship with the woman he's been with past 3 years.
Ms. Cole says she got pregnant with Majestic on April 11th after sleeping with Mr. Webb. But Mr. Webb fires back, saying they've never been intimate and calling her a liar. The courtroom gets loud as Ms. Cole doubles down and Mr. Webb calls her crazy.
I know for a fact the dates line up, and I know he stayed with me for 2 months, and he slept in my bed with me for 1 night, and we had sex April 11th.
We never had sex or anything. We were just friends. We would chill out. That was it. I never stayed in her bedroom. I stayed out on the couch.
That's a lie.
And on top of that, I was only there for a week and a week and a half.
Ms. Cole says Mr. Webb stayed at her house for over a week, and during that time, they were, well, more than just friends. She claims her family took care of him the whole time, but Mr. Webb denies it all, saying he was just crashing on the couch. His girlfriend backs him up, and the courtroom is now a mix of yelling, arguing, and side-eyeing.
I wasn't living there. We were hanging out for a week and a half. Right. And on top of that, April 18th, I had moved back to Detroit. How was I there for 3 months? She had knew about it. We were friends. She trusts me. She knows I'm not like that.
I've known him for 7 years, and he is not like that at all. And you called me, and you called me with his friend telling me that he was there for 3 weeks and you guys were having sex and blah, blah, blah. At first, I did believe that.
He shows texts from Ms. Cole where she admits there's another guy who could be Majestic's dad. But she also says the timing makes Mr. Webb the most likely choice. Mr. Webb isn't having it, though, calling her messages proof that she's unsure and just making stuff up.
This is how this went, the first message. She messaged me saying, hey, I got an ultrasound. I had said, okay, can we leave it at that, Tasha? It's not my baby. I'm trying to do right in my life. Stay out of my life in the inbox. At this point, I'm thinking, I feel like she's trying to say that I'm the baby daddy, but just hinting, not actually saying it. What came next? I told her, I said, I'm not trying to be mean. I just want this to end. Because I'm not a mean person. I'm not a hateful person.
Ms. Cole shows a calendar with dates marked to prove when she and Mr. Webb were together and when she thinks she got pregnant. But there's one little issue. Her timeline overlaps with another guy she was with. The courtroom is buzzing as people try to figure out if this calendar helps her case or just makes it messier.
In red is the date you were intimate with Mr. Webb, on the 11th of April.
Yeah.
The window of conception is in blue.
Yeah.
So that's the week prior to the 11th. And then Majestic was born on the 28th of January, correct?
Yes.
When were you intimate with the other guy?
May 15th, 16th.
How do you get those two mixed up? That's over a month. How are you gonna say that you think it's him and then over a month?
The DNA results are in, and guess what?
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Webb, you are not her father.
Oh! Yeah, you're crazy. You need to go to a mental hospital. hospital.
This case starts wild and gets wilder. Judge Lake introduces Capples versus Harris, where Miss Capples claims Mr. Harris is her 15-month-old son, Jason's dad. Mr. Harris, supported by his girlfriend, denies it and says, "Let me live my life. Buckle up, it's about to get messier."
You say you are 100% certain that the defendant is your 15-month-old son, Jason's biological father, and today he's going to put his name on the dotted line right in front of his girlfriend. You and your girlfriend say there is no way you are Jay's father, and once the results are revealed, you want the plaintiff to leave you alone.
Miss Capples admits they weren't a couple, just hooking up after meeting on Facebook. She even made him her man crush Monday, which is awkward now. No love story here, just a messy timeline bombshell waiting to drop.
Me and Mr. Harris started talking. We used to go to high school together. We're Facebook friends. Mr. Harris, I made him my man crush Monday. He's a good guy, hardworking, good father. We messaged back and forth on Facebook for a while. After that, we exchanged numbers, and after that, we started hanging out, getting up, and it just kind of went from there.
Miss Capples brings out a timeline, claiming her conception dates align with being with Mr. Harris. She's got evidence, but Mr. Harris shrugs, saying, "I don't remember dates." Then it's revealed he doesn't even know her real name.
As you can see, my son Jason was born January 9th, 2016. Me and Mr. Harris were intimate for 9 months, all the way up until May. We started talking around September, Mr. Harris. Like I said, all the way up until the beginning of May. If you go back 9 months, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, it'll bring you to April.
He only knew her as Muffin, which the judge finds shocking. "You didn't know her actual name?" she asks. Mr. Harris's response? Yeah. Cue cringing as we head to the hospital drama.
When we contacted Mr. Harris and told him that Ms. Shatera Caples summonsed him for a DNA test, he said, "I don't know who you're talking about." I said, "Muffin?"
That is correct.
I'm pretty sure I told him my name. Would you remember Shantira or would you remember Muffin? Would I go by around town?
If you having sex for that many months with the same person without using any protection, you gotta at least know their name.
Mr. Harris skipped the birth, claiming work, and later refused to sign the birth certificate because the baby didn't look like him. Miss Capples was furious, and things got worse when we found out who else was there.
When you came up to the hospital to see the baby, did you sign the birth certificate?
No, I did not.
Because you did not want to, or you were not even asked?
Both. I wasn't asked. I had my doubts, and I had been had my doubts.
She wasn't even there for the birth.
I was
I mean,
at
we
work.
did. So what? Were you at work when she went into labor? Probably, but you were at the hospital, right? Does not matter. That might not even be your baby. And what?
Plot twist. His girlfriend worked at the hospital and was on Miss Capples' floor. Miss Capples says she was messy, while the girlfriend insists she was professional. The judge tries to keep order, but chaos reigns.
What is this about the hospital room, Miss Caples?
She was undergoing surgery, getting ready to have my tubes tied.
That is my job.
As a woman, I would not want to be in a room with a woman that's having my boyfriend's baby.
Okay, so you was a patient.
You have that's a little too much.
But wait a minute, Miss Cape. You work at the hospital. It was where they told you your station or where you were supposed to be. You were assigned to that.
Today, we got our stuff to do. Yes, ma'am.
The results are in.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Harris, you are not the father.
Thank you.
You didn't sleep with no one else.
There you go. We good.
This case kicks off wild right away. Ms. Hummel claims Mr. Pack is the dad of her 8-month-old baby, Lola, but he denies it, blaming his girlfriend, Ms. Fuentas. Determined to prove him wrong, Ms. Hummel insists on a DNA test. Meanwhile, Mr. Pack and Ms. Fuentas just want her out of their lives. Buckle up, because this is only the beginning of the chaos.
You claim you were caught in a love triangle with the defendant and his current girlfriend, which has left him denying he fathered your 8-month-old daughter, Lola, for a DNA test to prove that he is her biological father. You and your current girlfriend 100% certain you are not Lola's biological father, and when the results prove it, you want Ms. Hummel out of your life for good.
Hold on to your seats as the court delves into Ms. Fuentes' history. Turns out she's been involved with multiple men from the same family, and she's not denying a thing. The drama intensifies as secrets spill and accusations fly, setting the stage for even more chaos.
She has been known to sleep around while in relationships.
Well, Ms. Fuentes, we hate to bring up the past, but you've appeared in this court.
I have.
Before.
Yep.
You've been in this courtroom in this particular hearing. You pretty much admitted to the fact that you had had sex with several members of the same family.
Yes.
Ms. Fuentes admits to sleeping with her ex during the crucial time frame her baby Anthony might have been conceived. With no protection involved, the courtroom buzzes with disbelief. The paternity mystery deepens, and tensions rise as everyone scrambles to make sense of the messy timeline.
Well, the way I feel about it is if you've seen my other two kids, they look identical. The one with the man that I slept with, my ex. This baby looks nothing like them. He looks like him.
I wish we could go on looks, but we can't in this courtroom. And the truth is, regardless of what you think, it still doesn't mean anything, because the truth is Mr. Pack just stated in court that he is concerned.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Hummel reveals that she and Mr. Pack had been on and off since 2015. When she got pregnant, they broke up because he wouldn't get a job, only for him to move in with Ms. Fuentes 2 days later. She's left pregnant and confused while they argue over who was sleeping where and when.
Your Honor, there is also another 2 guys in the beginning of the relationship before I came that lived in the vicinity where she lived at.
That is wrong. I dated one guy and we had broke up in December and we got back together in January.
That is wrong, because during January to March, we did not have no sexual at all. And the baby is born in November, so that time does not add up.
We were together.
Mr. Pack pulls out a calendar to argue he wasn't with Ms. Hummel during Lola's conception, but she counters, saying he was at her house almost every night. Stories clash, confusion reigns, and the crowd eats up the drama. All eyes are now on the DNA test results to settle the dispute.
He submitted a calendar to the court that outlines why he believes he is not Lola's biological father. So, Mr. Pack, you say that during January, February, and March, you were broken up with Ms. Hummel. You had no sex with her.
Yes, Your Honor.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Pack, you are the father. I told you.
This case starts wild. A guy named Mr. Jenkins shows up, claiming he's Andrea Bond's long-lost dad. He says he's been looking for her for 24 years, but Andrea's not buying it. Her birth certificate doesn't even list a dad, so she's ready to shut this down.
Mr. Jenkins, you reached out to the court to open a case. You believe that you have a long-lost daughter and hope to one day find her to prove you are her father. So we've located the woman you believe is your daughter, and she's here in court today.
Andrea's story is heartbreaking. Her parents died in a car accident in 1999, leaving her to be raised by relatives. Now she's homeless and raising 2 boys, and the struggle is real. The room shifts big time, and her pain is clear, setting up an emotional case.
He died in a car accident in 1999 with my mother, and I believe that that was my father.
You don't have any information?
No information.
No one's ever told you anything?
No one's ever told me anything.
And Mr. Jenkins,
Yes.
You have known about this young woman all her life.
I've been looking for her over 24 years, Your Honor. Me and her mother was in college together, and I'm telling you, she was banging. I mean,
Mr. Jenkins brings out an old ultrasound picture, claiming he was super involved during Andrea's mom's pregnancy. He says he's kept it for 24 years, which is sweet but intense. The court's reactions are split between awe and, wait, is this real?
it's an ultrasound picture that I used to go to the hospital with her.
So when you found out she was pregnant,
I was excited. I said, I got my first child. I got a girl. You know, I was just blown away.
so this
Okay,
is an
well-
ultrasound picture of Miss Bond
Yes.
If you
that
guys-
you've saved all
Yeah,
these years.
Over 24 years, I've been saving that picture right there.
Mr. Jenkins' efforts Andrea isn't holding back, asking why he didn't show up sooner if he cared so much. She questions how hard he actually tried to find her. The tension skyrockets, and Mr. Jenkins struggles to explain.
I used to go over one of your family members' house. I used to come over there every Christmas. I used to go there. Kept me out on the porch. I knocked on doors. I'd like to submit one more thing to the court, Your
I have
Honor.
a Facebook page. If you went for social media, you could have found me.
I did everything I could do. I've been looking for you over 24 years. That's one of your numbers that I had contacted.
Mr. Jenkins says Andrea's family blocked him out after her mom died. He claims he left his number and kept trying, but Andrea isn't buying it. The truth feels blurry, and the court's on edge.
I lost contact, like I told you, after people got in her head, took her away from me. I went by there and left my phone number, and Xavier called me. I was excited. I could get my girl, I could see my baby now. I said, well,
You
where
should
are
have
you?
saw me regardless of whether or not she was in another relationship. You shouldn't have let anything get in between you being with her or you seeing me, being around me, raising me.
Mr. Jenkins reveals he's worried about dying without a will after watching Prince's situation. He says he wants to leave everything to Andrea, so he doubled down on finding her. It's a heartfelt moment, but all eyes are on the DNA results.
Not just a while back, you know, music artist Prince had died. He didn't have any estate or nothing to leave any of his stuff to. So the things that I have or the things that I accomplished in life, I like to leave them to my daughter.
And you look at him. Do you see yourself at all? Do you say, I kind of feel like I look like him?
I look more like him to me, in my opinion.
The big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Jenkins, you are her father.